Let the drama continue here at this 2016 European Diving Championships. Time to meet the divers for our final competition of the evening, gold medal number 9 at this championships, the men's synchronized 3-meter competition. Law and Mears stepping out poolside for the home nation. And it's already been a very good evening for Great Britain. Tonya Couch winning silver, Georgia Ward winning bronze behind Lulia Prokopchuk in the 10-meter platform final. Blaha and Brandl then coming out for Austria. Konstantin Blaha finally has his European Championship medal, a bronze the other evening in the 1-meter. Can he add to that this evening with Fabian Brandl? Reshetek and Lesiak. For some reason, Reshetek deciding not to dive in the 3-meter individual. We have not been able to find out why that was, but he's back here tonight for the synchro. Fasha and Horst Kovasov, they've been successful in the past. Can they be successful again this evening? They're both diving very well this week. And the Russians, the mighty Russians. Basically now, with Kuznetsov winning gold in the 3-meter yesterday, it means the Olympic champion Zakharov will dive alongside the European champion Kuznetsov, and they will be a formidable pairing. So 8 pairs to go across 6 rounds of diving. First 2 rounds of diving are the usual restricted degree of difficulty at 2.0, and then it'll be fireworks. And that's our dive order for this evening. Chris Note alongside me. Where's your money going on this one? It's going to be another tough call, isn't it?
It certainly is, with Jack Law and Chris Mears. They're brilliant divers diving together, but could they upset the Russians? Also, in this competition, it's just the Ukrainian and the Russians that have medalled. The Swiss haven't medalled before, Belarusians haven't medalled before, Austria and Poland haven't, and it's been a long time, 1999, since we got a bronze medal from Tony Ali.
Second final of the evening, 9th gold medal of this championship's up for grabs. The men's 3-meter synchro competition. 8 teams going across 6 rounds of diving, and we're really looking forward to this one. But just a reminder, if you're new to synchronized diving, the first 2 rounds are always the same. So a restricted degree of difficulty at 2.0. Then for the next 4 rounds, the optional dives, we will go into the big scores. The likes of Law and Mears for Great Britain, and the Russians as well. Zakharov and Kuznetsov go to 3 5s, 3 8s, 3 9s even. We are going to see some big dives off the springboard tonight, and it is a really tough call. It's another one of those evenings where it's going to be absolutely wide open in terms of the medals, and another one of those evenings where in this sort of company, Chris Snowd, you cannot afford to make errors.
No, with the Russians being ranked number 2 in the world and the British being ranked number 3 in the world, you know, this is what we're going to probably see at the Olympic Games.
Away we go then with this men's 3-meter synchro final. It'll be Switzerland to get things underway. The teenage pairing of Simon Ryakov and Jonathan Sukov. We've seen both of them in action already. Sukov is going to be furthest away from the camera with the darker hair, and Ryakov nearest the camera. And remember, classic dives, the dives from a long time ago. Reverse dives, back dives. We're going to see them all through these first 2 rounds. And it's a back dive for Switzerland to get the competition underway. So individual scores important, but really it's synchronization from 5 judges that is the key to winning the medal.
Yeah, this is a reasonable start. They touch at the same time. Hands go to the same place on the top of the legs. Here's the touch. Hands on top of the legs, reaching back the same way. The only real mistake was Sukar was a little further out. But they are good back dives. But we're looking for 50 points, really, for world-class diving, not 46.
Yeah, anything outside of 50 is always going to put you under a little bit of pressure. Yoheni Karaliu and Yuri Narazov. Karaliu has been the go-to man for Belarus this week. He's been everybody's synchro partner across all the disciplines, but this is the board that he has been most successful on. Coralio nearest the camera. And choosing to just add that somersault in to the mix. Not bad.
Yeah, just a little out of time in both of them. And the dive's going slightly forward. Closed pipe position, then opening up. Yeah, just slightly out on the synchronization. You pick it up more on the slow motion. And there was splash going through the water. I think the scores will be lower.
And they are low 40s for Belarus. And Great Britain take to the board next. Air traffic control at the nearby city airport have been contacted for flight clearance for these two. We won't see the real height in these first two rounds, but my goodness, when we get into the optionals, just keep an eye on Mears and Law. Law with that silver medal from yesterday's competition. They will start with the back dive. Well, that's incredible. What a start. That's going to be in the 50s.
Well, Jack Law's back dive was worth 9s. Chris, still a good dive, but just a slight movement over. He puts a great save on it, though. But this will go over 50 points. Look at the height. You're right about the flight clearance.
Even on that dive, that's still massive. And that's what we've got to look forward to in this competition. And it's a good start. Adi Hinchcliffe, their coach at Leeds, just over to say, well done, boys. Nothing to add to that. 52-80, Great Britain off to another good start. Now, can these two get in amongst it? Konstantin Blaha and Fabian Brandl. Brandl was very good on the 1 metre, but made one mistake and didn't make the final. He wasn't so good on the 3 metre. And Blaha, the same. We were amazed. He didn't even make the final. And after that bronze medal in the 1 metre, we had him into that top 12. So chance for them to atone for what happened earlier in the week. Back dive to start for Austria. And that will do nicely.
Yeah, should be close to 50 points. Didn't jump as high as Law and Mears, but still good technique. Just different time reaching back, touching at the same time here. Yeah, just slightly out on the synchronization.
Good score coming though.
Yeah, it'll be in the 50s, definitely.
51 dead, and a smile from Blaha and Brandl. Poland next out onto the springboard, team number 5 of 8 in this first round. Reshetek with the darker hair, the senior partner in this duo, likely to do the counting. 24-year-old, and nearest the camera, Kasper Lesiak, very good in the 1 metre the other day. It's okay, but that may not creep into the 50s.
Yeah, if you're side on, you shouldn't be able to see the second diver, but you can just see the touching going on, not quite at the same time. Lesiak touches just slightly behind Reshetek. And Reshetek just pulling the chin in as he goes through the water.
46.80 though is a solid start nonetheless from Poland. Pasha and Gorshkovasov of Ukraine. Ilya Kvasha underlining his credentials as, well, one of the world's best springboard divers with that fabulous gold, but he also picked up a medal in the 3 metre. And Chris,
That's
these
good.
might be the dark horses for this evening.
Oh, that was brilliant. Yeah, Kvasha has actually won this competition, but that was with Prigorov back in 2009, 2010. That was really good. This is the best we've seen so far in round 1. That's near perfect. I can't see really anything except for a little bit of splash just going through the water from Kvasha.
It's the lead. 54 marks dead then. And already this competition is starting to simmer. Ilya Zakharov then with the blonde hair nearest the camera, the Olympic champion back to the pool where he was successful in London 2012. And alongside him, the new European 3-metre champion, Yevgeny Kuznetsov. Oh, it's a lovely start from them as well. A little bit splashy from Zakharov, but this will be good.
Yeah, I think the Ukrainians was a little bit better on their back dives. Well, 54 points for Ukrainian. It's definitely not as high and not as sharp going through the water. Splash being thrown up there by Zakharov. I'd say that was a miss.
Yeah, well, under these terms, it probably is. 51.60 for third. End of the first round. We'll take a break. Another irresistible evening of diving for you here on Eurosport from these European Championships in London. Switzerland to get round 2 of 6 underway with their second restricted difficulty dive, reverse dive. Well, a little tentative on the hurdle steps, but that's a good finish.
That's a good effort, actually. Get the strong jump. Still junior divers with lots of potential. So they're not, of course, going as high as Mears and Law, because they haven't got the power yet. It's going to be another 3 or 4 years. But neat, and they have the similar technique to each other, so they're suited for synchro diving.
Good score. That was some pike from Sukhov. Cracked himself in the head with his knees there. Saw the head shoot back, but it's a brilliant result for them. So Switzerland with a couple of tidy rounds of diving. Belarus, body-wise, these two don't quite match up. I think there will be concerns later because the man with the tape on his shoulder doesn't spin as fast as Coraliu nearest the camera.
Out of timing.
Yeah, they lost that from the start. They eventually got it lined up, but it's going to be another lowish score for Belarus.
Yeah, the first score they got was 43 points, and this might be even worse. Clearly out of timing on the board. Reaching back at different times, hitting the water, not together. So the second miss for them, definitely.
42.60 for Belarus. Go on, boys. You will have heard the call in the background for the British pair. Jack Law and Chris Mears, very good opening round. Second position. And that second position behind Kvasha and Horshkovasov. They are ahead of the Russian pair, Zakharov and Kuznetsov. Mears counting it out then. And yes, a very, very nice reverse as well. There's almost no separating them on the synchro.
No, they work very hard on their synchro. You can just see there is nothing wrong with this. This worth 9s. They scored 52 on the first dive and they scored 9s. And this is just as good. But with the reverse takeoff, you actually go even higher. Look at that. They're over 6 meters in their jumping.
Well, Law looks sharp as anything, and Mears isn't far behind. 52.20, 2 great rounds from the British pair. Team Austria, Konstantin Blaha and Fabian Brandl with their second round dive, reverse dive at 2.0. Oh no, that's unfortunate. Blaha was wonderful, controlled, rhythmic as usual. Brandl disappeared down the pool.
Yeah, Brandl's wobbling all over the place. As you said, Blaha hits a perfect takeoff. That was a beautiful dive. Brandl will be down on 6.5s, but that's an 8.5 dive there from Blaha. Actually, it's glaring mistakes, and you can just see the jump forward.
Yeah, and that's hurt them at 44.40. They're the kind of team who might be able to amass a score and sneak in for a medal if others make mistakes around them. But that won't help. Reshetek and Leshiak then. Leshiak will remain on the left-hand side. He'll be nearest the camera. And nice work from Poland. That's much better from them.
Yeah, Leshiak maybe a few centimetres further forwards, but strong reverse dives again. Knees go down at the same time, jumping up at the same time and touch. And that hesitation in the air, that shows off the position. That is good. Again, just could have a little more jump. Should be close to 50, maybe just under.
Yes, another good score from Poland, but just off the pace being set by our leaders at the moment. Laura Mears, sorry, of Great Britain on 105 after 2 rounds. What can these two do to overhaul them? Kvasha and Hoshkovasov then with a back dive in round 2. Well, a few waving arms at the start there, and Kvasha just drifting out a little wider than Hoshkovasov.
Yeah, what happened here, his weight was just slightly back on his heels as he took off. And brilliant dive, though. Yeah, just maybe a few points. They got 54 on the first one, just a little bit off because of that distance differentiation.
Makes things very close, so they move into top spot, just 1.2 ahead of the British pair. Blahart and Brandl in 3rd at the moment, but should get bumped down into 4th after this dive from Team Russia. 4 1.5 somersaults with a single twist. This is a lot of dive for just 2.0. But it's Zakharov and Kuznetsov that are performing it. Brilliant.
Yeah, they picked the dive on its star value. Twisters always look good, especially reverse twist. This is a single twist, like you said, but it shows control and both brilliant entries. Out to the side, that's... I couldn't see any difference in the synchro at all. So 9s or more for the synchro, individual dives good too.
Oh, that's brilliant. 53.40 to go 105. Zakharov and Kuznetsov getting up to level pegging with Law and Mears in 2nd, Kvasha and Hoshkovasov. First round of optionals, Switzerland, forward 2.5 twister. So you saw the whole dive there performed very nicely by both men, and synchronization was good. Switzerland diving well.
Very high. Rickoff with the better entry. Zakharov there, just with the head down, coming around, and has that kick over with the feet. So that dive's worth about 6.5. Low degree of difficulty, 3.0.
68.4 athletes and coach delighted, and so they should be. Really good start to this men's 3-meter synchro final. Now, this is where we have some concerns for Karaliu and Narazov as we go into the optional rounds. They start with an inward 2.5 somersault, so they're still keeping it nice and straightforward, but I think they're going to have problems spinning at the same rate and keeping synchronized. And there you go. There's the problem. Narazov spins so slowly. Karaliu spins so quickly. It's not a great partnership.
No, they just don't look right together, do they? Karaliu throws earlier and is into the pike sooner, and you can see as they're coming around, they're at different rates of speed. So it needs to get close to 70 points. This is going to be way down.
Yeah, 58.50, and don't forget Karaliu has a 4th in this competition back in 2008, so he's a genuine contender. Now then, seatbelts fastened, please, ladies and gentlemen, and prepare for takeoff. Jack Law and Chris Mears. Mears nearest the camera. They know they're in a competition tonight. They know they've got to go big on the optionals. Forward 2.5 with 2 twists at 3.4. Oh, it's sensational start. Little splashy from Mears, but that was a brilliant dive.
Yeah, it's the jump that it just mesmerises you. They hang there forever and then power to push that board down up as close as the 7 metre. There's the throw together, out at the same time. Jack just with his head up, going around on the twist, but it didn't matter because he drills the end. They're looking at the water from 3 meters up. There's no chance of them missing that entry.
85-68, the gauntlet has been thrown down. 190-68 for the British pair. They move into top spot. And that, you'll be amazed to hear, was one of their easier dives in this optional 4 rounds. This competition just got real, and Austria have realised it. So they start with an inward 2.5, again, just trying to keep things under control, get a good dive away at the start of the optional rounds, but only 3.0 on the degree of difficulty. No, and that's a miss for Austria.
Yeah, Brandl ducks his head down on the end and washes over. So push at the same time, but Blah had a little stronger throw. They're both pulling their heads down, but Blaha with a faster spin just needs to slow down the spin so his partner can catch up.
66-60. It's okay, but it's not going to be good enough in this competition. Lesiatek with the blonde hair will be nearest the camera. Sorry, with the darker hair will be furthest away from the camera. Lesiak with the blonde hair with a quick nod to his senior partner ahead of this dive. And they're opening optional, inward 2.5 as well. Yeah, they've done it well. It's an understandably popular dive to kick off the optionals, but it has to be performed well because it's only 3.0.
Yeah, it would be better to do an inward 3.5. Lesiatek with a good dive, but he was further out than Lesiak. Good pipes from both of them, lining up at the same time. So the rate of spin was the same. That's good synchronization there.
70.20, solid dive from Poland for 165 and second place behind the leaders Law and Mears of Great Britain. The British pair is worth some analysis on 190.68. Every single round is going to be important. Long way to go in this competition still, but the pressure's on Kvasha and Horst Govasov now. In with 3.5 then for 3.4. Same degree of difficulty as the British pair. It's pretty good, and that's going to score well.
Horst Govasov, he was just a little bit short of vertical. Great from Kvasha though. There's the throw, fast spin. They're out at the same time. They're just a little bit short of vertical going through the water. Good reaction for both of them coming out. Just that small mistake. Synchronization is pretty good.
Can't live with the British pair in round 3. 81.60 leaves them at 187.80 in second place by just under 3 marks. Zakharov and Kuznetsov now. Again, 3.4 is the degree of difficulty. Same dive that we've just seen from the Ukraine pair. Oh, and that's gone a bit wrong as well. Zakharov is all over the shot nearest the camera.
Yeah, that was very weird. A kick out, legs moving around. Oh, he hit his feet on the diving board. He did actually hit. I wasn't quite sure because he didn't break position. Now, if the judges see that, they should mark that down. But will they do that?
Oh, he did. He clipped his toe, didn't he? Wow. 76.50 for 181. And yes, Zakharov has been penalised. Welcome back, Ryakov and Sukov of Switzerland, managing to only record 66.03 with their 4th round dive, so that's put them out of contention, and Karaliu and Norazov already out of contention. Forward 3.5 somersaults. I'm not sure how this is ever going to work. And it's such a shame. They gave it everything there, and they did very well to stick together for the first part of the dive, but then Narazo just couldn't keep up with Corralio's spinning.
No, because he's leaning forwards, and he just throws too late. So that is why it doesn't look in sync. So already here, they're pulling in. Corralio, he has the better of the dives, a faster spin.
68.82, not a bad return actually on that dive for Belarus, but it's a partnership that is going to just struggle along through this final. Laura Mears, first place after a brilliant opening optional. That forward twister was something to watch. Now, sticking at 3.4 before they go to the big scores in rounds 5 and 6. This is an inward 3.5. Mears nearest the camera, Law furthest away, Law counting it out. Oh, it's Law that's washed over on that one. Synchronisation good again, but the execution scores are going to be down.
That was so unusual for Law to miss an inwards 3.5. Everything's going fine here. Synchronisation was on. Mears with a brilliant entry closest to us. But Law furthest away, just picks up the water, the spotting of the water a little too late, and doesn't reach forward and can't stop the rotation. That's a real shame.
Well, in this sort of company, 80's required for the challenge on the gold, so it hurts, but it might not hurt too much. 74.46 for the British pair, puts them to 265.14. And we move on. Forward 3.5 somersaults now for Blaha and Brandl. They too have had their problems already this evening. Well, Brandl was in all sorts of difficulty on the end of the ball, but he's dived that really well.
Yeah, he waves his arms around, he drops his elbows down. It's hard to see because he's diving furthest away, but yeah, he had a problem. But what a 3.5 though. As soon as he's off the board, pulls him well, face on top of the knees, that was good. And now's his entry. So that was a good comeback.
How did Konstantin Blaha not make the 3-metre final? It's incredible, isn't it? 75.33 then for the Austrians to go to 237.33 in second place. Lesiatek and Lesiak then for Poland. Really good dive in the first round of optionals. That's put them back in the hunt. Forward 3.5 then. Well, looked a little laboured, but they both did, and they were in time, and nice entries.
Yeah, they did finish very low to the water, below the 3-metre coming out. The throw at the same time. Just a little bit out on the synchronisation on the spin part, but not much. Yeah, finished way under the diving board, and that's why they had splashy entry. Not fully locking out, rolling both together as they went through the water.
So just below the Austrians now. Good recovery from Blaha and Brandl.
Team Ukraine,
Hushkovasov and Kvasha. Every single dive, diving for gold. They've just seen Mears and Law, though, go into the 70s. Oh dear, and a miss. Both men, synchronisation was out, and it's a big miss from Hushkovasov, and coach Tamara Tokmacheva not happy.
Yeah, they're not taking the advantage of Mears and Law missing. Taking off well here. At this point, it is fine. Just kicking out too late, and then the arch over, pushing the chest out, not keeping the back flat. And it's a really poor finish. That was unexpected.
Well, I said that 74 for Laura Mears might not be too painful, and it isn't. 71.40. So that means Usher and Hushkovasov just 6 points down on Great Britain in second, but didn't overtake them. Now, Zakharov and Kuznetsov, you're just waiting with these two for them to hit a dive and hit it really big. Back 3.5 somersaults at 3.6. This is a huge dive. Oh, it's a fabulous dive. I said we were waiting. We don't have to wait any longer.
Well, they need 83.4 to go into the lead. As with this high DD, it's quite likely. Sharp kick up from both of them, just a little bit of a pull on the end. Will the judges be kind to them?
Well, I think they've been watching Zakharov pretty closely these days.
Zakharov, just watching him there, maybe a bit too pulled over.
And 77.76, it isn't good enough for the lead. And Laura Mears will mop their brow. They've missed, and they're still in the lead. This competition has a long way to run, and I'm sure the drama will keep happening. But Great Britain lead from Russia, with Ukraine in third place at the moment, just ahead of the Austrians. Simon Ryakov and Jonathan Sukov of Switzerland get to start each round, and that's not a bad position for the teenagers. They can kind of do their own thing. If they miss, it's not a problem. If they do score, then it's a very nice comparison with the rest of the divers as we go through. So back 2.5 somersaults at 3.0. Their degree of difficulty on their dive list is a lot lower than the other teams, but they've been performing it really well. And the Swiss teenagers, unfortunately this time though, missing. Ryakov with the bigger splash.
Yeah, when he came out at the right time, but then arched his back and pulled too hard with the arms closest to us. Sukov, he's finishes short, doesn't press the feet up enough and can't pull the dive around. So one short, one over will keep the synchronization scores and the individual scores down.
Yeah, 54.90 for 282.93. Not as many smiles this time around from Team Switzerland. Back 2.5 somersaults then for Coralio and Narazzo. Slightly resigned look, I have to say, from Yohani on the left-hand side of your picture, nearest the camera, as he looked across at his partner. Let's see if they can get the rotations, the spinning right this time. No, and again, it's Narazzo. I mean, it just stands out so much, doesn't it, when they separate like that?
And really, this is quite an easy dive to get an accurate entry, because all you have to do is put your feet at the board, and if you don't do that, you go over. Coming around, they spot the board, but they don't place their feet high enough and see the bendy backs. So a big miss.
Yeah, Coach Vyacheslav Kamulkin trying to talk them through it, but it's a bit of a lost cause, unfortunately, for Belarus. And Coralio knows it. There is no room for manoeuvre in this final. Great Britain, Ukraine and Russia all know they cannot afford another missed dive. It's got to be big from here. Mears then, nearest to the camera once again. He'll count this one out. Law furthest away. Oh, wow. That's a big dive.
Did you see Jack's dive? I can't see anything wrong with it.
Well, that was
Chris's
huge.
dive was good.
And at 3.9, Chris, this could be a competition winner.
Well, it's quite... So far, the highest score has been in the 80s, but this, I'm just keep watching Law's dive. That's nearly perfect.
90s is coming, I'm sure.
Yeah, definitely, especially with a 3.9.
And there it is, 94.77 for 359.91. And that really has opened this competition right up, and what a way to throw the challenge down to those that follow. Next onto the board, Blaha and Brandl. They do finish with a couple of 3.4s, inward 3.5, followed by a forward 2.5 twister. So they do have the possibility of scoring big enough to put some pressure on for the bronze medal, but they really do have to be at their very best. Blaha counting it out nearest the camera. No, and a miss, I'm afraid, and a big miss from the Austrians, and that's blown it for them.
Blaha short on his entry, Brandl over on his entry. Blaha just needs to stay in the tuck longer, closest to us. Start was good. Brandl, though, pushes his hips back. He's moving away from the board. Blaha, better technique, but poor entry from both of them. So that was a miss. 75 and 71 on the previous dives.
64.26 then. And that means they've really lost contact with the medalist, or the medal contenders. And they've also given Reshetek and Lesiak an opportunity to skip past them. Polish team then, in with 3.5 in the tuck position at 3.4. Reshetek, the senior member of this pair, furthest away from the camera, usually counts the dive before they go. And that should be good enough to overhaul the Austrians.
Yeah, Lesiak just a little splashy going in. I was actually watching Reshetek, who started to go over but puts a save on it. The synchronization is really good. There's the throw together, pulling in together. Just here, slight separation. Actually, Lesiak with quite a hard roll under the water, which pulls his feet back. Well,
good
better,
enough, though.
Yeah, better than the Austrians.
Good enough. 77.52. Business end again. Krasher and Hojkovasov with their forward 4.5 somersaults in the tuck position. This for 3.8. This is their big dive. This is the one they have to nail. Oh, they have done it! That's a magnificent dive.
They have to go 100 points to go in the lead. This is a 3.8. Brilliant jump. Will they get over 100 points? It's possible on this dive.
That felt good all the way, didn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's wonderful diving. Ukraine then putting the pressure on Great Britain. Can they overhaul them at the top of the leaderboard? Oh, no, not quite. 98.04, just sub 100, but the best score of the evening. And that's definitely put them in contention. It's going to be a terrific final round. It really is going to be close. Reverse 3.5 somersaults in the tuck position at 3.5 for Russia. Oh, they've nailed it as well.
Well, they need 100.65 to go into the lead. I'm not quite sure it's going to happen. Oh, so easy. It's going to be in the 90s, though. Look at that synchronization and how high they finished on one of the hardest dives in the world. That's incredible diving.
91.35 from Zakharov and Kuznetsov. Third position on 356.1. So they're 9 points down on Lauren Mears. Krasher and Hojkovasov are just under 3 points down on Mears. And that means we are set up with those top three for a brilliant shootout for the gold medal in the 6th and final round. We promised you a good evening in the diving pool, and we've had exactly that. This second final, though, is going down to the wire. Great Britain, Ukraine, Russia in a shootout for the gold medal, and under 10 points separating all three teams. Switzerland then to sign off. Relatively straightforward dive in with 2.5 somersaults, sorry. So just 3.0. Let's see if they can sign off in style. Yes, they can. Great finish from Ryakov and Sukov. Look out for them in the future.
Yeah, they've done really well. It's a shame on the first two dives they were below par on the low 40s, but the optionals have actually looked reasonably good. Good entries from both of them. There's the pipe position, nothing wrong with that. It's just lacking the power and the jump, which they will develop in the years to come.
Good series of diving there from the youngsters. 3:54.3 is their final tally, and a quick high five from coaches Fabio and Maliev to say well done. Well, we wish the same for Karalu and Narazo. Always good to finish a competition in style, but this is their big one. 3.4, forward 2.5 somersaults with 2 twists. That's a lot of dive to synchronise for this pair. And they've done it brilliantly. Good finish from Belarus.
Yeah, they picked the best dive to go last. I've been saying that through the competitions. Most divers prefer their, well, not their easy, but the ones that are steady. Just a little wobble going through water, but synchronisation's not too bad here. Into the twist together, piking down, just slightly out. That was a good effort, though.
One of their better marks.
Oh, by far.
Yeah, definitely. So good finish for Belarus. Final dive for Law and Mears of Great Britain. It's all about gold. Chris Mears on the left-hand side of your screen with the darker hair. Jack Law furthest away. Forward 4.5 somersaults. And they've got to go big to put the pressure on the Russians and Ukrainians. Oh, it's massive. Oh. It is absolutely sensational.
And you could see Chris under the water. He just zoomed up. He knew it was a good dive. They want to see the scores. Little out of time in, but how high have they gone?
It's going to be close to 100. Crowd love it. The judges seem to be going with it. And the mark that Britain are going to set is going to be a very big one. And it might be unbeatable. Oh, 96.90 for 4:56.81. And Law and Mears are sitting in gold medal position. Can Russia, can Ukraine touch them? Blaha and Brandl in amongst all the hoo-ha to finish off their programme. Well, there was a chance for these two, but they just haven't managed to coordinate. And a big miss in the last round has put them out of it. So forward 2.5 somersaults with 2 twists to finish for Austria. No. And again, a big miss from Blaha. And now we do know why he didn't make the 3-metre final on the evidence of those last 2 rounds.
Yeah, Brandl again dropping his arms, but it's Blaha's entry here where he arches his back and his feet flick over. There's the drop of the hands from Brandl, twisting at the same time, but not the same distance from the board, and sloppy entries.
And let's be honest, most unlike Konstantin Blaha. 64.26 for 3:65.85 overall. So Austria sign off. Leshitek and Lesiak need to set a mark that will sit there in waiting for a potential mistake from Ukraine and Russia. But this still has to be a big dive. Forward twister. Yeah, oh, nicely done, and just such a shame they couldn't quite finish it off. Reshitek at odds with Lesiak as he went in the water.
Yeah, I was watching both together, and there is a flutter of feet somewhere. Oh, there it is. Lesiak, feet come apart on the twist, and back together again, and then drop in the water. Reshitek just a little bit short of vertical going through the water, closest to us there, and has to scoop under the water.
Well, it's good enough for second position at the moment on 381.45, but it doesn't really put a massive amount of pressure on the teams to follow. Zakharov and Kuznetsov in the background waiting, the two Russians. Okay, chance at bronze for Poland, but we will see. Now then, Kvasha furthest away, counting this out. Hoshkovasov nearest the camera. Ukraine with their final dive. It's a corker, it really is, and this is really testing the judges tonight.
Well, for them to go in the lead, they have to go to 99.55. I'm not sure that's going to be good enough, though. There's too much movement of the feet, but they've gone for it. There's a throw. Now they're out into the twist. Synchronization's there, but sloppy feet. Yeah, just coming around here, little untidy, a bit of splash.
And Law and Mears see off one challenge. Second position for Kvasha and Hoshkovasov. It's going to be a medal, but the colour of that medal will be decided by this next team. Zakharov and Kuznetsov then with their forward 4.5 somersaults in the tuck position. And what do they have to go?
106.20. Mathematically, that is possible, because the maximum you get is 114.
Here they go. That is going to be tight, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough. The crowd are going to have to wait now and see, but Zakharov and Kuznetsov give it a good shot, but that's surely not going to be there.
No, they're out too far. They're going to lose their title to the British pair.
That roar in the background tells you all you need to know. It's another gold medal for Great Britain at this European Championships. And it goes to Law and Mears. 94.62. It's a very good effort from the defending champions, but it's not good enough. And after the disappointment of yesterday's 3-meter springboard final, Jack Law has finally got the gold medal in the pocket. And there's Tom Daley. We might have more gold by the end of this week when he goes in the men's 10-meter. But for now, here this evening, the conclusion to a fabulous programme of diving ends with a victory for the home nation. Great Britain, Law and Mears win the men's 3-meter synchronised ahead of Kuznetsov and Zakharov, Kvasha and Hoshkovasov of Russia and Ukraine. But Great Britain take top honours.